This tribute was written by Valerie Dixon, Lady President, Kingston Division 454 of the UNIA. This tribute was spoken by Valerie Dixon, MBA, Sunday 7th, 2018. There's a saying in South Africa which says, if you strike a woman, you strike a rock. Winnie Madikizela Mandela was a rock. She proved to be tougher than a rock, and over time has cemented her title as Mother of the Nation of South Africa. Why is this an important fact? South Africa was under the political and social system known as apartheid, where citizens of indigenous African descent were subject to a harsh and cruel caste system, while European white descendants enjoy much higher levels of wealth, health, and social freedom. Winnie Mandela had completed her study as a medical social worker and had won a scholarship to study in America. But when she witnessed the deplorable conditions that many of her patients lived in, she humbly declined the offer and decided to stay in South Africa to work as the first black medical social worker at Baragwanath Hospital in Johannesburg. She never lost her humility, and it enabled her to achieve success in her many trials and challenges. In 1958, she married attorney Nelson Mandela, who was the leader of the African National Congress, ANC, an organization with the goal of ending South Africa's apartheid system of racial segregation, and she moved into Mandela's home in Soweto. During the early days of their marriage, her husband was routinely arrested and was eventually sentenced in 1964 to life imprisonment, leaving Winnie to raise their two small daughters, Zanani and Zinzi, on her own. Nonetheless, her courage soared to great heights as she vowed to continue working with integrity to end apartheid. Even though she knew it would prove to be extremely difficult, she never changed her core values in pursuit of this objective. Winnie Mandela was constantly monitored by the government and was arrested under the Suppression of Terrorism Act and spent more than 1 year in solitary confinement, where she was tortured. She was so passionate and believed that her cause was just that upon her release, she continued her activism and was jailed several more times. She had courage beyond measure. Following the Soweto uprising in 1976, in which hundreds of students were killed, she continued to be supportive of the students and their anti-apartheid struggles, and was forced by the government to relocate to the border town of Brantford and placed under house arrest. She described the experience as an alienating and heart-wrenching, yet she refused to give up the fight. Such was her confidence that she continued to speak out and continued to criticize the government and its apartheid system. She was a fearless warrior, and in 1981 BBC program, she spoke about Black South Africa's economic power and might, and confidently spoke about the ability of Black South Africans to overturn the apartheid system. That is how honest Winnie Madikizela Mandela was. She told it like it was, knowing full well that the white government was listening and could abuse her for not saying what they wanted to hear. It is said that she had little tolerance for telling people only what they wanted to hear. In 1985, after her home was firebombed, Winnie returned to Soweto and continued to criticize the regime in her own truthful way, and regardless of what anyone may say about her, one thing remained irrefutable, that she was a selfless leader who lived her life for her people. She may have made tough decisions that to some may appear harsh, if not ill-advised, but unless one understands the context of the struggle she dedicated her life to overcome, it is best to put all judgment aside. Her prophecy did come to pass, and she lived to see the irreparable cracks appear in the apartheid system. brought about by the might of the indigenous black South Africans and other freedom fighters as South Africa's first multiracial election in which full enfranchisement was granted, were held on April 27, 1994. The African National Congress won 62% of the votes in the election, and Nelson Mandela, as leader of the African National Congress, was inaugurated on May 10, 1994, as the country's first black president. Winnie Mandela died at the Netcare Mill Park Hospital in Johannesburg on April 2, 2018, at the age of 81. We of the Universal Negro Improvement Association African Communities League, Jamaica, are pleased to honor the memory and life of this great lady through this tribute, and we are thankful that she was sent as a gift and role model to the black people of South Africa and to all black people in the rest of Africa and the diaspora, to teach us that we too can emulate the many leadership traits she possessed that enable her to achieve so much success in her life despite the many challenges. May her soul rest in peace and light perpetually shine upon her. Amandla! Amandla! Amandla!